We're in my bedroom, and I'm showing you what needs to be done. As you can see, the bed is currently being held together, mostly by the support of this bodged up piece of wood I cut out of scrap, because I ran out of welding wire, hence the last video of me going on a little bit of an adventure. So what I need to do now is put some of this down here. Hello, and welcome back to Colours Lab. Now, what you see in front of you is the two bars that lay parallel with you while you're sleeping on a bed. It's a quite king size bed. Now, as you can see, I've already done some welding work. I'll show you up close in a second and explain what I have done so far. But today, I'm planning to finish the job I started with finishing it on the welder. There's a couple bits and bobs that need doing, but this will probably be quite a short video in comparison to the last one. So, we'll have a close-up on those and see what's going on with them. You can see that there's a seam join all the way across the bar here. Now, these were originally push-fit, one into the other, and then bolted here, I want to say? Here and here, to attach them. Problem is with that, because it was a slightly bigger object, fitting inside a slightly smaller object, that could bend upwards and lip out, and they just failed on us. Literally, it wasn't a spectacular failure. I didn't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning or anything stupid, but the bed slowly just started sagging and bending upwards and becoming really uncomfortable to sleep on. So I was like, right, I'm going to fix that. Oh, thanks, truck. Now, this is the stock material I have, and as you can see, it's almost identical to the material that's actually making the bed slats that we're trying to repair. That's because it pretty much is. It's an older bed that I had that I couldn't bear to throw away the material that it was made out of, because hey ho, it's good little pieces of steel. And I'm rather glad I didn't, because obviously I can use this to repair the old bed. As you can see, there's already a cut out here. Now that's the plate that became part of the repair. I want another one of those plates to repair the other slat, as I did when I showed you the difference. So I'm going to get the angle grinder, cut that out using the grinding disc or whatever. I know you're not really supposed to angle in on the discs, but whatever. And then use a flop disc, I have been told off for that one, to grind the paint back, because obviously it won't work very well without it. And I'll speak to you after that. So now I've got the little plate that I've cut out of that piece of stock that we had. Now I'm just going to get the angle grinder with a flop disc and cut away the paint on all the four corners to make it much easier to weld to. Ooh, sugar hit the tripod. You might notice that I've whacked the piece of stock onto the work we're working on. I've clamped it down. It's kind of floating on this end a little bit, so what I'm planning to do is do a little bit of a seam weld on this end, just about here-ish. Then I'm going to move the clamp over and see how it goes from there. Oh yeah. Helps if I turn the welder on, doesn't it? So I've moved the clamp over onto this side. I'm just going to do a seam weld along this edge here. Then I'll move the clamp back into the middle, do that seam, and then vice versa. See how that goes. I don't know if that's made it worse or better, to be honest with you, but that'll have to do us for now. Right, now I'm going to take that onto the angle grinder and tidy that up and see how it came out. a side-by-side comparison here of my weld that I did on the bed repair before I even had that video put up, the last video in fact, of me changing the welding wire and tidying up the extruder, etc. And there's what I've just done. Now, I can see a definite difference myself. Bear in mind, I'm no expert on something like this. No. I'm just a person with a welder in a backyard. As you can see here, and especially along here, it's lots of blobs. There's only penetration here, and here. Whereas on my new one, there's this really nice long seam. It's all penetrating really nicely. Now, I imagine the extruder helped, but I think it's practice as well. I've learned a lot. Now, that's thumbs up. That's excellent. And that, with that finished, that brings us on to the last part of this repair job. Adding the original posts that went down here to touch the floor. Because obviously if you've got a really long beam, well, this long, like all the way along there, and it's supporting my fat load plus my partner, who isn't exactly running any marathons anytime soon, you need something in the middle, otherwise it's just going to bend and explosions. I very much doubt there'll be any explosions, but hey ho. So I'm going to cut some to the length of the originals, and we'll see from there. You can see I've got the stock that we're going to be using to make the new standoffs in the chop saw. And I've also got one of the old ones. I'm just going to give you a side-by-side comparison of the thickness of the material we're going to be using here. It should stand up to a lot more, if you know what I mean. Now, one critique I have of this is the welds. Now, I know, as I've told you before, I'm no expert when it comes to welding, but they've been a little bit cheap, shall I say? They've only used two little welds, so you don't get the full area, so there's not enough contact, etc, etc. These just snapped off, which is why it always started to bend. So hopefully with these big uns in their place, they'll work. So I'll get back to you after I've chopped two of these down to size and grinded the paint off, etc. I don't know if you can see down there, but I've already put some tack welds, pretty much two on each face, just so it's all square and straight and everything else, because it took me a while to get the angles right and make sure that everything was flush. But I'll show you the main seam welds now. Again, not too happy with that. Looks like the material's blowing away a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. Right then, same process as before with the second one. That looks horrible. I'm having to bridge quite a big gap and I really can't get the handle on it. That's so much better. Now for the seams. It's a thick weld, but it's a weld. We're on the home stretch. Well, there we go. Two new bedposts with stands. I think I'm going to call the video here. I did weld these bits back, and as you can see, to be honest, I'm not too happy with those welds in comparison to the new seams that I've put along here. But it's the learning curve at the end of the day, isn't it? I'll see you in the next video. If you do have any suggestions for me, tips and tricks and all that, I'd really like to hear them, so in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I know that's what everyone says. But yeah, I'm actually going to say it now because I want to. See you next time.